Hello, everyone. Today we are going to review the sixth movie in the Rocky series, Rocky Balboa. So this is, I guess, quite a few years later. I'm not really entirely sure how much further in the timeline this is supposed to be, but it seems like Rocky's kind of on his own with Polly at this point, and he doesn't really have much to do with his son, I guess. And it seems that his son kind of has, kind of moved on to get out of his father's shadow and so on and so forth. And Rocky has completely given up boxing. He actually has opened his own restaurant and kind of just living life, like after his boxing career is, over. And it seems that Adrian, kind of funny that they took it in that way, the storyline that Adrian has passed away. I would have thought that the two of them would have still been together, but maybe maybe the woman who played her didn't want to actually continue on being in the movie. I don't know. That seems kind of weird to me that she wouldn't want. I mean, she did make one small appearance. Talia Shire did, but I thought that was kind of odd that she didn't want to be in the movie. Like, she wouldn't want to be in the movie at all. Seemed kind of weird to me. But anyway, I guess it is what it is. There were a few guest appearances, obviously, and some cameos. So Pedro Lovell, who played Spider Rico in the first, I believe he was in the first one. Yeah, he was. Cool. Was actually in this one. I think he was kind of like must have been like a regular at Rocky's restaurant. And he kind of helped out a little bit at the restaurant as well. Mike Tyson made a guest appearance in this, and they actually did have a real announcer in the movie when they did their final like little bout there or whatever. So basically, I was like, how are they going to get Rocky back into the ring in this movie? So they do this current heavyweight champion who, again, it kind of seems that everybody kind of doubts his abilities because hasn't really beat the best of the best. They're trying to say that he's kind of been handed his victories, hasn't really had to go for a long, full, grueling fight or whatever. So they're saying that in this computer simulation, that Rocky would be able to beat him. So they decide to put on this exhibition match, which is kind of similar to what I guess Apollo Creed and Drago did in the fourth movie, but this is kind of like a build-up to that, and he actually ends up running into the girl from the very first movie that he talked to about staying off the streets and keep it clean and so on and so forth. He ends up running into Marie, who was played by Geraldine Hughes in this movie. Now, I don't think there's no way that she was actually the same girl that played in the very first Rocky movie. I can't imagine she was anyway. Maybe she was. Oh no, she was not. Okay. I wonder who did play her in the very first movie. I'm kind of interested to see Marie. Let's go back to Rocky and see who played Marie in the very first Rocky movie. Kind of interested to see who did play Marie, because she wasn't like a big part in the movie other than just that one scene. So I think it's kind of cool that he decided to bring her back as a character and make her more of a main character in this movie. Oh, so Jodie Letizia played Marie in the very first movie, and she's still kicking. But I guess she would have been a little. I guess maybe for the storyline she would have been a little too old in the movie. I suppose maybe. Because when was the other girl born that was in the Rocky Balboa movie? Let's just see here. I'm gonna see how young she was. So she is a mother in this movie anyway. I guess she was. So her son's name is. Oh my God, where is her son? Steps, played by James Francis Kelly III. Wow, that's quite a name. That's a long name. So Geraldine Hughes was born in 1970. So really not that much difference between the two women. Huh, that's kind of interesting that they wouldn't just have the original actress play her. But I guess it is what it is, as far as that goes. So yeah, Antonio Tarver played Mason the Line Dixon, who was the new heavyweight champion of the world, and is now challenging Rocky to a exhibition fight. And I mean, he says that he can get Rocky out of there pretty easily. Now, I know it's an exhibition fight, so exhibition fights, you're kind of supposed to more or less give the people like a show rather than actually, really going after one another. But I mean, they went all 10 rounds, and I think Rocky still proved himself even after, like, how many years of retirement this was supposed to be, that he can still hang with the best. Kind of similar to the way Mike Tyson is. Like, I know he's done a couple exhibitions, and I'm pretty sure like I'm not pretty sure. I know that he's showing off that he could probably still hang with a lot of the younger guys, um, even now being in his 50s. It's just crazy that yeah. I guess once you have it, you never really lose it, right? Um, you kind of just that skill set just kind of sticks with you because if you are a fighter from a very young age, because Rocky had been fighting since he was probably like 19, 20, because in the first movie, he was late 20s going on 30. And then by the second or third movie, I think he was like in his early 30s. So, I mean, he was pretty young in the original movie. So I guess maybe he wouldn't really be, wasn't really supposed to be considered that old. I guess maybe in his 40s in this movie. I'm not really sure. Now, obviously, in real life, Sylvester Stallone was 60 when this movie came out. So, and he's 77 now. So that's, I can't believe he's already up there that much in age. He doesn't look that old to me anyway. That's for sure. And he was still doing he still does a fantastic job in all of his movies. At least the ones that make it to the big screen, I would say he does a much better job in. Now, has there been a bad Sylvester Stallone movie? Of course there has. Not every movie is going to be a masterpiece, but as far as like the like big ticket ones go, like the Rocky franchise and the Rambo franchise and the Expendables ones, I feel like those are probably the standout series that he has done for sure. So yeah, he meets Marie and then decides to help her and her son out. I believe there must have been some sort of like, I feel like there was some sort of love interest between the two of them there. And maybe he felt some comfort a little bit finding somebody new, obviously after the passing of Adrian, and then he has the exhibition fight, and it seemed like she was kind of filling the shoes of Adrian a little bit to me because she was at the fight when he was, fighting the exhibition fight. She was cheering him on, very similar to what Adrian used to do in the older films when she was with him. She would always be there to cheer him on no matter what, no matter how hard it was for her to watch him fight. She was there. So it kind of felt like maybe he was kind of trying to fill that void of Adrian not being there. And I mean, I know he's a very selfless person, so obviously when he sees her working at a bar and not really and barely getting by and having a son, and I guess I don't know, they never really talked about the father too much, so I'm assuming he maybe wasn't in the picture, um, which seems kind of weird. Uh, so yeah, which seems odd that he wouldn't have been. I don't know. Maybe he decided to leave after they had the kid. I'm not really sure why, but they didn't really touch too much on that part of the story anyway. Uh, so what else can I really say about this film? Um, I guess he gives them both jobs at the restaurant. I thought maybe he was going to train Marie's son Steps in order, like, to fight, but I guess he doesn't. He ends up fighting himself just to prove it to himself that he can still do it one more time. And I think probably Paulie really pushed for him to fight too. I think, and obviously um, he ends up losing the exhibition fight, but on one of the judges' scorecards, they had it for Rocky, so he won by split decision, which is pretty crazy uh, to even think about that he would be able to hang with a young gun like that who was heavyweight champion. and they were really going at it in the ring for a little bit, and he got hit pretty hard again, and obviously he had some pretty severe brain damage in the fourth movie. Or no, I guess in Rocky 5 he had some pretty severe brain damage, and then he had that street fight. So I'm assuming him getting hit in the head now, it isn't going to take much for him to be a little woozy and probably have some, like the random flashbacks or stuff they show, like where he's got the voices in his head of Mickey and all those other people, telling him, get up, sort of thing. Yeah, but anyway, I think this movie was probably. I mean, it kind of felt like a standalone story in a sense, even though it was connected to the other movies. And I did rate it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was deserving of that. And I guess there's really not much else to say. It kind of felt like it went back to its roots with this movie, where it was just like a one last ride fight type deal, where he was just going to fight this guy and just prove to everybody that he was still able to box. Other than that, yeah, I guess I will see you guys in the next review. Bye bye for now.